Welcome everyone to the next episode of the Biohazard Corvette, or as I like to call it, the Money Pit. This vehicle really reminds me of a very funny movie from the 80s with Tom Hanks and Shelley Long. They buy this beautiful home and it's a complete disaster and a complete money pit. This is the vehicle version of that movie. So if you're new here, I bought this Corvette last month for $4,000. In the first episode, it was a complete tear down of the interior because of mostly mold on the seats, but we steamed it, ozone machine, bleached it, put it all back together. It's 99% better than what it was. And then last week was essentially getting this vehicle roadworthy, meaning oil change, transmission fluid, differential fluid, brake fluid, rotors, pads, belts, tensioners, idlers, and we had some issues with the coolant. But today, everything is done. The car is happy. But now it's the next step, and you will see at the end of this video where I call some local body shops the amount of money it's going to cost. But let me first share with you what I have been doing off camera.
First thing, the cowl. This sits right underneath the windshield. It was really beat up by the sun. And I used one coat. This is just one coat of Car Guys Plastic Restore. No, I'm not sponsored by them. I paid for this with my own money, but look at the results. Over here, the wiper arms. This is what it looked like before I did anything. Completely, the sun just destroyed them. Don't forget, this is a 99 Corvette in this case. I wet sanded it with 400 grit sandpaper. This is just 2 coats of satin black. Then we come to the battery. It looks like the battery is okay. This is what I discovered. I was messing around with the car one night, just testing, and you'll see why I was testing that passenger side light. I came over to the stalk, okay? It was just on the parking light setting. I turned it off, and the light bulb for the low beams were blinking. You know, what's going on there? Which means it's drawing down the battery. And this is something I've mentioned so many times and why I don't like anything aftermarket. So it had these LED bulbs plugged into them. I can't really fault the brand because who knows how long this car just sat around. You can see the rust. But clearly it's just not working as it's supposed to, and the light was just blinking on and off. This is now removed, and the factory bulbs are back in there.
So a little bit of a good news situation. We can salvage the cowl and the wiper arms, but now it goes south real fast. And that comes directly to the damage sustained at the front driver's side. Now, as far as I can tell, this car was hit while parked because the airbags never went off. So my guess, it was hit while parked. The thing just sat and sat and sat. So airbags never went off, but look at the damage, first of all, to the fiberglass. Look at this, you see that? So clearly it was a good hit, and this is where it starts to get ugly. The first is the bracket that holds on the headlight assembly. So I purchased a headlight assembly last month. These go between $400 to $800. This I paid $405. It's in pretty good condition. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn. That's something else I have to watch out for. It's in pretty good condition. So the other night I was starting to sort of reverse engineer how this entire assembly goes together. So the first thing I realized that's missing, there's a light bezel, and you'll see this easier once I flip this light. There's a light bezel missing from the driver's side assembly that I have. So this one, you'll see this clearer once we flip open this headlight with a battery pack. I'm going to show you that in a moment, but this bezel sits on the outside. The bezel for the driver's side assembly that I purchased, it's not here at all. Fortunately, this is something that GM is really bad at, is continuing to make parts for their vehicles. I ran into the same problem last year when I had the CTS-V. They just don't make so many parts. They still make the bezel for this headlight. It was 28 bucks. That will be here in a few days. But then it's the next step. Look at where the damage is. Specifically, if you look at the mount, so this is the mount for the headlight. Look how it curves in. It's not perfectly level. And if we compare it to this side, and I know it's a little hard to see, but if I run my fingers back here, it's completely straight. This is bent. This bracket, which is bolted on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fasteners. So this entire bracket, I need another one. This is where eBay becomes your best friend. Now, very quickly, if you do anything on eBay, this is a quick tip. If it's something you can wait on, whenever you look at any item, you have an option to click a heart icon. That really goes to your watch list. If you just wait a day or two, more than likely you will get an offer from the seller. Could be 5, 10, 15% off. And that's typically what I do. I click it on for my watch list. I wait a couple days. 9 out of 10 times I get a better price because eBay, their fees are very expensive for the seller. And sometimes these things sit a while, so you're overpaying. But in my case, I have no choice. I have to really use eBay. Marketplace, it's not so much. But now it's the next thing. And the question becomes, we have damage to the fiberglass. This is bent. Is this completely broken? Now there's a little knob, as you can see, that broke off. The whole point behind this, and I'll show you a way to test this. But as you can see, you can do work on the vehicle. If, let's say, the motor is shot or you have an electrical issue, you can still raise and lower them. But does the internals, do they still work? Now, taking this thing apart is actually really easy. There's just 3 fasteners. As I understand it, the 2000 to 2004 Corvette, you don't have these 3 screws. This body is glued on. But inside here, if this gear ever strips, you can actually replace it with a brass gear. Very inexpensive, okay? This is okay. This is my problem. That is a worm gear. Let me quickly show you that. So these 2 fasteners that I'm removing, this essentially holds the motor, which still works, to this entire assembly. Okay. Check this out. This is actually a huge bummer. This is a simple battery pack. Pushes out 11 volts. And if you look closely, it's a little hard to see on the action cam here, but there are 2 wires. It's a light green, a lime green, and a gray. We just want to follow that up to this harness connector. So very simply, I find the little prongs inside for these 2 wires. So that happens to be on the end. And let's just power it up. See that? It works. And it sounds really good. But I can't use it. Well, why can't you use it? It sounds perfectly fine. This guy, the worm gear, it's bent. And I tried and tried to straighten it out. You won't be able to see it on camera, but on the end here, it's slightly off. Slightly off. So when I first powered this on, nothing happened. So everything's put back together. When I first did this, nothing happened. Now, it's spinning, but clearly that is not right. Now this is what it's supposed to sound like. See how nice and smooth that is? I can't use it. The motor, I just can't use it. So we cannot use this. It's no good. Now that little worm gear, I checked everywhere. You can't find that little part. I figured maybe it will be cheaper if I look at Firebird flip motors, maybe the C4 Corvette flip motors, because GM made so many of these, but you don't know if it's the same size. That's the risk. What if I 3D printed it? There's so many things that you can really go down a rabbit hole. The bottom line is, at least for me, my time is too valuable. I don't have time to check all these different avenues. It's just cheaper for me to buy another one. So that's what I did. And this I'm going to keep as a spare. So slowly, again, you start creeping up, and it becomes a money pit. So just to make myself a little depressed, I decided, let me tally up. This becomes dangerous because you don't realize how fast things add up. How much have I spent on this thing up to this point? It's almost $8,000. Look at the state of this thing. $8,000. So you may be thinking, how could it cost that much money? That makes no sense. Well, you have to add in all the costs, meaning to insure the vehicle, to get license plates, sales tax, to tag it. All of that is done already. And some guys don't include that. I have to include that because if this vehicle was not sitting here right now, that money would be in my bank account. So that was like $1,200 just to get everything, how would you say, legalized. So that by far was the biggest expense. Secondly, I had to have the vehicle delivered to me. It was like 450 miles away. So that was a good $600. $550 I think is what I paid total to get the vehicle to me. I don't have a carrier. I had to pay that money. But this is where GM is really bad at. Roughly 5 years ago, that was COVID, right? Around 5 years ago, I bought a Honda S2000, shot some video with it, and it needed a front bumper. I was able to do pretty much everything else, but I'm not a body guy. I know my limitations. I will never be able to bondo and paint, and I have no interest whatsoever. The total cost for me to bring that car to a shop, professional body shop, have them remove the bumper, buy a brand new OEM Honda bumper, have them paint it and mount it was $900 total. That's it. And the bumper today, you could still buy it for the S2000 for $400 at the local Honda dealership. Good luck finding a bumper for this vehicle. Doesn't exist. If you're lucky, you can find a few throughout the country for $2,000 unpainted. So my original plan was to splice in right now 3 phone calls I just made to local body shops. One of them, the guy seems really cool to work with, but he said and asked, can you bring in the bumper you have right now? Which is, it's cracked up, it's scratched, but he said, I'm not afraid. And what I'm going to do, I have the recording. The trouble is he wants to see that bumper at his shop, and I want to take you guys with me. I can't fit that bumper in my vehicle. I have a 20-year-old Acura and the seats don't fold down flat. I can't get that bumper in that car, and I need my wife's vehicle, but she's working late tonight. So I want to take you guys with me. I don't want to do this off camera. So let's just wrap it up for now. And then in the next episode, you'll see the 3 phone calls I made to local body shops. They all said different things. You'll see one of the costs that I was quoted was essentially what I paid for the vehicle. But let's just go there together because I want to talk to the guy in person. You can always feel them out better. He seems like a really cool guy. And let's just see if we can get this car situated within a few weeks. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.